What were the Flagellants and their role in the Black Death? Imagine a time when fear and despair swept across Europe like a dark storm. People faced the Black Death, a terrible plague that killed millions. In this chaos, a strange group appeared, trying to find answers through extreme actions. They were called the Flagellants. These were devout Christians who believed that the plague was God's punishment for human sins. To show their remorse and hope for mercy, they whipped themselves in public. They thought that by suffering like Jesus Christ did before his crucifixion, they could make God forgive them and stop the disease. The Flagellants organized large processions, marching through towns and cities with loud chants and prayers. They wore simple, rough clothing and carried knotted whips called scourges. As they whipped their backs, they called on others to join in repentance. Their goal was to imitate Christ's suffering and cleanse society of sin. Many people watched these processions, and some joined in, hoping to be spared from the plague. Their dramatic acts of penance became a common sight during the worst years of the Black Death. These groups gained popularity because people desperately wanted hope. They believed that their suffering could influence God's anger and bring relief. The Flagellants traveled from town to town, spreading their message and their rituals. But their travels also had a dark side. As they moved around, they unknowingly carried fleas and infected people with them. This helped spread the plague even faster across Europe. The Catholic Church initially tolerated the Flagellants because they seemed to be doing good works. But as their practices grew more extreme, the Church started to see them as a threat. The Flagellants' public displays were sometimes disruptive and even heretical in the eyes of church leaders. They feared that their actions could cause social unrest or challenge church authority. By the late 1400s, the church officially condemned the Flagellants and their practices. Later on, some members formed smaller groups called confraternities. These groups practiced self-flagellation privately, as a way to show devotion and pray for the dead. They believed that their suffering could help their souls and improve their chances of salvation. Even though the movement declined, the Flagellants' actions during the Black Death show how desperate people were to find meaning and control during a time of chaos. Their story reminds us how people have always looked for ways to cope with crises, even through extreme acts of faith.